Good afternoon, good afternoon. Are you in your relationships right this moment, which maybe is not really working out? Or maybe you literally just recently got single and you think about your ex like, oh my God, that was another disastrous relationship. Why it never works out? Because probably all of them are just not good for me. Well, there's always something you can improve. And today I have a real life proof here in the live studio. Today I have an exciting couple with me. And what I can say that today you will learn a lot from Robert and Diana Indries, who actually invented something really phenomenal. And this is called Better Topics Game. Hi, Robert, and hi, Diana. How are you today?
Hello. We're very good. Thanks so much. What about you?
I'm really good, and I'm so excited to actually have you today in a live studio with me. And if you don't mind, while we are waiting for people to join us, would you mind to share where are you based right now? Because I know you're traveling at the minute, so please tell us where you're right now, because I'm sure some people who are watching us right now maybe also will be there where you are right now.
We are currently on eastern part of in the west side of Romania, close to the Hungarian border, where we are actually visiting our family right now.
Which is exciting, I must say, I've been through Europe a little bit, as I was mentioning before we went live, but I've never been to Romania yet. And I know quite a few people from there, so maybe it's a place to go. So I'm really curious, those who are joining us right now, please share where you are joining us, because ideally we would like this message to go worldwide, because what Robert and Diana invented, it's something what can help you and your loved ones to not only save but also improve your relationships. And if not current ones, at least the future ones, because who knows, maybe the current one is just not really working out if it is not healthy. We've all been there, right? But Robin and Diana, could you please tell us more about the backstory of this game? Why did you decide to invent it? How did you come up with this idea? And how actually it can affect people's lives?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we started thinking about something that more specifically that I'm very, very passionate about my work and what I do, and I'm good at it. And I'm a business owner, and I enjoy it a lot. I have that I run, and they really fill me up with a lot of joy and passion and excitement. And Nana said she wants the same thing, but she didn't really know what to do. And I feel many people are there, many people what they want to do, and they don't know what careers to choose or what profession to go into, what business to start, whatever it is, right? They don't really know. And so she didn't know what she's good to do. And so we started thinking about it, talking about it, and so on, meditating on it, and after a few weeks, we said, well, something I told her, something that you are very, very good at is, growing and maintaining our relationship, right? I've been in many relationships before, and I've never met actually, growing our little team, every single week, like doing various things that bring us closer, bring our families closer, help us evolve. So I said, you're definitely very, very good at that. And I can tell you from experience, you're better than most. And so that was a realization. And then after that, we said, okay, well, let's presume we have the skill set, but then what to do with it, right? Because she didn't want to become, a therapist, or things of that nature. Yeah. So we said, this is something you're good at. And then what's something we actually enjoy? And then we wrote lists of things that we enjoy doing. And something that we really enjoy doing is we enjoy playing board games and card, have dozens of them. We played a lot. We play everything from Monopoly to Uno to Ludo to I don't know, exploding kittens or whatever you can think of, right? So we have a ton of games, and we really enjoy it. And we're the type, that we can play Scrabble for like 2 or 3 hours, so it's we like it. So I said, okay, well,
Yeah, I love it.
could we maybe combine? Well, could we maybe combine the team? Maybe, make building and growing a relationship fun, because the truth is, after going to work for 40 hours, for 10, 20 hours, and having to take showers and eat, and maybe children, maybe other responsibilities, and so on and so forth, you see working on your relationship as a chore. You see spending time with your spouse as a chore. You see it as a chore in general. And we think that really shouldn't be like that. I mean, you chose, and first world or close to it, you chose your partner. Why did you choose them? You choose them because you want to spend your life with them, right? And you chose them for a reason, right? And maybe you aren't. Maybe at the end of the day, at least you dislike each other. You chose each other for a reason, So make it work. Whether it's a relationship that'll last for 2 years or 80, have fun with it and enjoy it and make the most of it. And so on our end, we said, okay, well, let's start creating something, right? And then we started coming up with a ton of ideas.
Add that we were also looking at friends' relationships, because obviously we tend to somewhat compare ours to other people's relationships as well. And we've seen so many of our friends who individually they are great people, together they are miserable purely because they are not talking to each other. And they would separately come to us and complain about issues that they have in the relationship, but they would not talk to each other. And we would tell them like yes, but this is something your partner, because your relationship is with them. And then many times they were like, well, I don't have time, or that seems like something I have to do extra on my list. So this is why we actually came up with the idea of a game, so people would be more actually start playing as well. So we made it fun and also have the deep conversation that many relationships should have.
Yeah. And one comment there on what Diana said. She used the word miserable, but with all honesty, many couples do not think that they are in a miserable relationship. They think that, or and it could be better. But it's just your standards. What are your standards as a person, and as a couple? Because at the end of the day, if your standard of living with passive aggressiveness in your relationship, or sarcastic comments, or just not speaking to each other about important things, or fighting once a week or whatever, that's our definition of miserable. So it's like it's either great, in which you're both evolving and both growing, or you're literally not adding value to each one's life. At which point you ask the question, why are we in a relationship to begin with, right? And many people have children, so they're in a very peculiar situation in which, even if they don't have 2-3 children, what do you do now? Well, you're going to stay together, right?
Yeah. And what most people don't realize is that if they don't make conscious effort into improving their relationship degree, because relationships are not something that just stays put at a certain level where you were at a certain point. They either go forward or they go backwards. They never stay in the same. So instead of leaving the relationship degrade or going backwards, why not help couples make that extra step to help the relationship go forwards and improving it and growing the relationship together.
And we as a species, sadly, we as a species, sadly, are also set up, our brains are set up in a way that we look for danger.
Yes.
We look for, our minds are like homing missiles, they learn to see the lion, to listen to the crack, or anything that, is out of the ordinary. So we likely to notice and bad things. This is just how we're set up, sadly. And so when like, let's say we come from home today, and we talk, we have an amazing discussion, and we greet each other, we hug each other, whatever. That goes on today, that goes on tomorrow, the day after. But then on the fourth day, one of us is having a bad day, and ours or any, it doesn't matter. But let's say on the fourth day, you have something bad happen, and you have a mini fight, or you become passive aggressive or whatever. Chances are, all of the 3 days that you just had, your mind will focus on the danger, on the problem right now, and that will stick with you. So because of this, because we are naturally wired, we say that there is no such thing as stagnation. So we believe that. So your relationship is either getting better or worse every week. And it's to dedicate conscious effort to it, right? And so we said, okay, what can we build to help people consciously make their relationships better every week? So
I love that. I must say, what you're saying there is like music to my ears, because I am a super strong believer that relationship doesn't happen. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen effortlessly. You need to learn about each other. You need to invest some time, which is joyful time. It's not a chore, as you said. It's not something what is a hard work where you have to now leave everything alone and just work on your relationships. It is actually very joyful and very loving work when you learn about each other and you improve your relationships. And unfortunately, so many people, they, as you said earlier, they stagnate in their relationships, and then they wonder why it doesn't work out. And quite interesting, they leave these relationships for one reason or another. They go into another relationships without learning how to improve what they have. And then they repeat patterns again, and again. And I remember one client actually who came to work with me. He ruined 8 relationships with 8 very similar type of women who were coming into his life again. And only once we start working with him on the patterns and why he chooses particular type, only then he was able to recognize and stop doing that, being attracted to that particular type of woman, but also improve his future relationships. And I love the fact that you emphasize the importance of conversation. Because let's be honest, how often you just have a conversation with a friend, with a coworker, with a manager, with just a stranger on the street, and you somehow feel better. But why don't we then use the same tactic in our relationships? Just come back home and speak to your partner about issues, about challenges, about whatever you face. Oh, I love the fact you address so many things and it's so exciting. But what was the hardest part in either your relationship or the previous relationships, which actually really shocked you maybe, or you decided that that's it, this has to be, challenged, this has to be changed, this has to be addressed? Was there any?
I think just before we move on to that, with regards to why don't people communicate, we've done quite a bit of research on this, and we've come 4 reasons why people do not grow their relationship via communication or via talking to each other, basically. And one of the main things is because qualification requires significantly more brain power than most other things you would do, right? So it's much easier to just say, can't we just, watch Netflix or anything else or whatever? But that doesn't add not nearly as much value, right? And so I can tell you, for example, now going into the question you asked, one of the things that I really disliked about my previous, our default was Netflix. Our default was, watching series or things like that. And I used to tell that person, look, I like watching movies. I'm spending time with you. I feel we're both watching a screen. Okay, so what? We have, and just how was your day? That's not a big deal. That's a very superficial thing. Well, okay, well, my day was fine. Okay, what made you sad? What are you looking forward to next week? These important questions, that all of these, are part of the game we've put together. These help you actually have time with your spouse or with your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever they are for you. So I think our previous relationships have been in the same, and I'll let Diana second as well, but from my perspective, with our previous relationships, people did not want to talk. They felt talking as something bad, like that we need to talk. So, no, we need to talk because, why are we in a relationship? Let's talk, let's converse, let's be friends, let's help each other, let's learn about each other. Just because we doesn't mean that the romance of constantly learning new things about your partner needs to go away, or you sharing things about you, or your goals, or working as a team. And to do that is to communicate and to talk.
Now, a common misconception today is that you find this amazing person and then that's it, the relationship just happens by itself. You don't have to do anything, and which is not true, because yes, you can find a great partner that is willing to invest the same amount of time or effort in a relationship or more, but the relationship needs work. And now, although it work many times because it's a conscious effort of actually doing something, it doesn't mean, as you said as well, it doesn't mean it has to be, stressful or another chore, or, it can be something fun. And people forget to actually enjoy that time together. They think, oh, now we have to do that. It's not like that. It's time spent together. And, this is why we actually thought about it as a game as well, because people are more willing to play something and, to relax as well, but have as well. And at the end of the day, in a relationship, there are two different people. Like, even if you have similar interests and similar things that you might like or not like, at the end of the day, that person with different background, different childhood, different traumas, maybe, a lot of different things. And then you don't really know what the other person is thinking or wants in life unless you actually, and yes, you discuss some of them, in the initial phase when you get to know each other, but these wants and goals in life, they tend to change, and then if we don't talk about these, we wake up, we look at the person next to us and we're like, who is this person? I don't know them anymore. Purely because they forget to actually take some time and discuss.
Yeah. You go, many times, or a marriage, thinking that, oh, it's like I've known you forever, and we have so many things in common, or we like each other so much, and so on and so forth. But that didn't just happen, because you spent, your nights talking on the phone for 3 hours with each other, learning things and, enjoying those conversations. You went to restaurants, you spent time together, you went on walks, you went on trips, you kept communicating, you kept doing things together. That's why the person so well, and that's why you're such in. But then you keep eliminating all of these things. You stop talking for 3 hours, from 9 a.m. To 12 p.m. to and so on. So it's those things that built that amazing relationship, need to keep being persistent, and maybe not at the same level or at the same intensity if other things later, like children or other aspects. However, you also can't stop completely, right? You have to dedicate time to, if it's not, then that's fine. Don't be in the relationship to begin with, or just get out of it, or whatever. But if it is important to you, how important is it? Is it worth, on your calendar every week, or an hour on your calendar? And if it is not, how important is it for you, right?
I agree, and I totally, I'm falling in love with you guys more and more every time when you just say something, because what you refer to is something what I call shoe trying. Is when you go to the shop and you choose shoes based on the color, based on the size, based on the shape, depends what event you're going to, and you try them on and they fit your feet and you think, okay, I'm gonna get them. They also fit my budget. And then you go back home, and then if you don't look after your shoes, they will look much older versus when you look after your shoes. But what humans very often do, they get their shoes, as in their partner, based on, oh, do we like the same things? Are you tidy or not? Do you earn enough of money? Do you want children? Don't you want children? Based on these superficial criteria, they pick their partner and then put them on the shelf, pretending that's it. But hey ho, this is beginning of the journey. And I love the fact you address it. And I love the fact that you pay so much attention to actually really talking through what has changed in your goals. What do you want to do in the future? Who are you now versus who you were 5 years ago and 10 years ago? This is remarkable. But do you think by playing this game, which I'm really curious about to hear all about it, are there like specific questions which are repetitive? And does it mean, for example, if I answer the question once, there is no point to answer again? Can you tell us more about this game?
Yeah, so basically, as you know, I said at the beginning, we liked and you know we bought quite a few, and we also bought relationship games like ours or similar, at least maybe in other people's points of view. Basically, we were sort of dissatisfied or let down by the fact that when you would buy these card games for couple, you would notice that they're literally 100 cards or whatever of just questions you would maybe ask once in time, right? Like, what's your favorite game? What's your favorite football team or whatever, things of that nature. And so you would ask these things once, and there were rules to it. You would just pull out the question, and then both people would answer it. That's not a real game. It's just like questions printed on paper. It's not the game. It's not replayable. So and then you can give the game to someone else because you played it. That's it, right? Why have it? What we've done is we said we don't want that. We really want to build a game, something that you can play every single week, rules to it, right? That you can actually win in the game, right? And you can have various elements that make it fun, like modifier cards, So we've worked, I believe, like 6, something like that, and we kept coming up with, okay, well, this game, this question, can we really ask this every week? Is it relevant, right? So our questions are things like, what's something I prefer I say differently, right? Or what's good?
Or when is it that you needed me most over the last week? A lot of questions, that conversation on the relationship and the both partners in the relationship, but things you can actually ask every week, because these conversations need to happen regularly. And the more where cards that we actually try to play, the ones that Robert mentioned earlier, you would just do it once and that's it. And where is the conversation going? Because we need to keep that conversation every. So, we actually grow, because every week something else happens. So that's why most of these questions are actually so repeatable. You can play them once at least a week easily. Mm-hmm. And you also have, like mentioned, like modifier cards, like cancel the question or reverse the question. If, your partner put a very interesting question, but you want them to answer it, or maybe even cancel it, if you don't want to answer it. And at the end, whoever you have a separate deck that comes with the main deck, of rewards. So whoever is the winner actually gets a reward that their partner needs to fulfill. Like, a 20-minute breakfast in bed on Sunday, or, a lot of things like these that are not very, huge, and they can be easily done by their partner, because we are encouraging for them, we're encouraging couples to actually, because that as well makes you, brings you closer.
Wow, I must say I love that game, and I want it myself now. Because honestly, that was my worry. Once you answer the question, what's your favorite color, then you're done. Very rarely your favorite color will ever change in your lifetime, maybe later when you get older. So that was my worry, like how many times will you be able to play this game? But the sound of it sounds like you can play it every week, every 2 weeks, the more often the better probably. But do you think this game could be played, for example, with other couples? Let's say the couple gatherings. Let's say you have friends around the house. Is it something you would play with other friends, or is it just for a couple?
So we made it in a way in which it's very customizable. You have the game itself. You have various categories of questions. You have, like memory, goals, curiosities, and so on and so forth. And you also have 6 custom cards in the main deck, in the base deck, that you can, write any question or any reward you want. Literally, they act sort of like jokers, right? You can put anything you want on them, right? So that number one. And then number two, any question that you don't want to answer in a game, whether that's with your, partner or with multiple people, you can just pull out, because there are many more than any other card in the game. So basically, you can pull out those cards that you don't want, asked in a group or, at the chat, and then play the game with what's left. So there are a significant amount of question cards. So when you play it and we did have clinics and therapists ask if it's okay for them to buy, in bulk the game and play it, with their clients.
Yeah.
Nice. We appreciated that a lot, that they saw the therapeutical value of it, right? That they can actually learn from it. Basically, the only difference, the moment you have multiple people, it really would come out as, just asking the question, right? So someone would ask a question and would answer it. So either everyone answers or just one person from the group. We recommend everyone so it doesn't become targeted, right? So if you have, let's say, 2 or 3 couples playing, you can literally pull out one of the cards. Like, for example, what's one moment where you felt very sad last week, right? And then 5 other people reply to that, right? And then someone else can ask another question. That can lead to quite a bit of sharing, quite a bit of, let's say, connection between those people, and people would enjoy that. However, it is, right? So most people would play it in twos, right? Just with their partner. It can be played with multiple, but people need to be open, because the worst thing that can happen is people answer that. Then you don't really want to play, do you?
Also, we have different degrees of question difficulties, if you like. We have easier questions, like, what was something that impressed you at work last week, or something, something easier that you can open the conversation with. And we have deeper conversations as well. So especially for couples or friends, that they are not very hearing that much, in the beginning, they can take out those cards, because we have so many questions in this deck that you can actually take out the most difficult questions, put them aside, until you get used to playing more and sharing more, and then you can introduce them later on.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. That sounds like a really fun game to have on your bookcase or in your storage, because not only you can play it between you two, but you also can invite other couples and maybe somehow, in that case, help them to improve their relationships, not directly, but indirectly. Because to be honest, we are the average of 5 people who are in our lives. But I always refer this to couples. Your couple is average of 5 couples around you, because you start copying what they do, how they treat each other, do they talk about each other or not, and playing games with them actually will make you all a bit closer, and will open up other things to talk about when two of you just like in between you two having your moment. I really love this game. I mean, guys, where have you been before? The world needed your game. I love it. I must say, we have a really wonderful comment here on LinkedIn from Dr. I'm not sure the full name, but Dr. M.B. Taj says, improving relationships in a fun way reduces anger and dramatically, and it helps to avoid anxiety. Oh, that's so nice. Wish you best of luck, couple. Oh, this is so nice of you. Thank you so much, Dr. M.B. Taj, for listening to this comment. And also there's another comment from Jayont. Olga, it is easy the life as a whole and maintain cordial relationships. It is strategic human nature which keep continuous flow of happiness. Well, and that's what we have to work on relationships, because our family, our union, which we're in right now, is a role model for the future generation or generations. Because, for example, I remember relationships of my grandma and my grandpa, right? So that means I learned from them as well as my parents. And that's why so many families are broken, because people get together from broken families with a broken mentality. The only thing they can build is something what is broken. That's it. So your game, I can see how it can really transform the world. Pardon?
Also, if people have, as parents, they expect to talk to them about their problems and their issues, but how can children actually open up to their parents if the parents don't talk to each other and they don't see that openness between their parents? Kids that don't have time, and I'm like, well, exactly because of that, you should invest that 1 hour a week at least and play the game, so you can show your children how important in the relationship, so they as well will then open up easier towards you as their parent and discuss problems and everything that's going on in their life.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. But is your game available for children as well? Like, can children join parents to play this game?
So we, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm very strategic when it comes to, and I know that you need to start somewhere, right? So we have what in business we call an MVP, which is a minimum viable product, right? The minimum viable product right now is the base prototype, and we're working, on very fancy boxes and artwork and so on. But basically, those should start shipping in the next couple months.
Oh, beautiful!
And then, right, which, like, for example, around bucket lists or parenting and so on and so forth. However, we do want better topics to stand for a bit more than that, and to stand for with people, with your loved ones, right? So we do want to create either an entire base game separately for that children, brothers can play with each other, and also one that children can play with their parents, right? So they're in the works. We want to build them, but and Diana has also amazing ideas, that she wants to do. But I said, look, let's shelve those, right? We need to focus. We need to focus on one product, tweak that to the point at which almost everyone that is like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This helps our relationship a lot, and so on and so forth. And let's build from there. And we can make more products. That's not a problem, right? And we want to, but we want to start with this one focus at the beginning. You have an outstanding relationship with your partner, right? Because if we get that right, as you said, that has a huge ripple effect, on not only multiple generations, generations, but also other people. You positively affect your children, your friends, your parents sometimes. I mean, our parents have literally evolved so much as a result of us,
Really?
right? They see us, they see how happy we are, and our parents
Wow.
are evolving, and they're already, like 50s, 60s, and they're becoming better individuals as a result of us. So it goes downward and upward, right, in every direction. So we think this is, a very important focus, and we want to get it right. And then after that, yes, we will do for children as well, and for, the conversation between children and parents.
Yeah. I love the fact you actually are thinking strategically. This is so important. And I think this actually makes you as a couple really unique, because you're all about the strategies, the business, how we're going to sell it, how we're going to make it. And Diana is all about creativity, and she thinks of the questions, and she brings your playfulness and your character into the product. I love that. And you know what? You are really that perfect example how you two, you don't have to be exactly the same. You two need to combine your talent, your skills, and your strengths together in order to co-create. And you are co-creators not only of your own relationships, but also co-creators of many other relationships nowadays in the world because of your game. This is so remarkable. I really admire you. And thank you so much for coming up with this amazing idea. But not only for that, but also coming up to my show to share your phenomenal idea. But tell me more. Do you have this game already available to buy? And if it is available, where exactly couples can buy that?
So we launched not long ago with a Kickstarter campaign, with a funding campaign, and we've had amazing feedback from people, and that was successful. We had people buying it from, I believe it was something like 17 different countries, which is amazing to see. From everywhere on the planet, from every continent, we had people buying the game, which is great. And at the end of the day, that was a very, very good vote of confidence for us, right? That really told us that we should keep investing, time. And so that was very important. Right now, we are in discussions with the manufacturers. We already got white box samples. Now we're looking to get the final versions that should be, so we should get them in the next couple of weeks sometimes. If we approve those samples, the ones that we get, then it's literally off to mass production, and we will produce, thousands of units of them.
Wow.
And start shipping them all across the world. So we are literally maybe 2 months away from mass shipping and mass ordering. We can take orders from anywhere, and until then we can sell. If anyone likes, we still have like 100 of them.
Less, yes.
So yeah, maybe we have 80 left of the prototype that we can sell people, and we're also building an app. App version that you can play. And so that should go live next week, hopefully. If that goes live, then you can literally play the game for free, through the app. So people can do until, the physical boxes arrive, at their doorstep, basically, in a few months.
So basically, the app also helps people that might not be able to spend that much time together, or they are traveling, or they are far, because the app connects them. Both people in that relationship need to connect in the app, and they have like chat that they need to do for each other, and they get points. And once they build up the points, they can use them either for different levels of membership in the app that we have, because with each membership level we have, or even maybe real life rewards, like discounts for flowers or books, or holidays even together, like a lot of real life things as well, that because we basically just want to encourage play it more and more, because the more they play it, the more they talk to each other, the more they invest into their relationship, and the better it gets the relationship.
Exactly.
Wow, this sounds like a really a massive journey for you guys, but I can see how that will definitely transform the world. It really will. Well, we just need to make sure that more and more people hear about this and actually know about this tremendous product, which is really life changing. And between you and me, guys, and everybody else who's watching us right now, my true desire, my true passion is actually to help reduce the divorce rate in the world. So your product, it speaks to my heart because I know that through communication, I know through being together in going to towards one direction of how can we make our relationship better, you can change your own life, but also lives of your children and also your grandchildren because they will look at you. So by the sound of it, your product is truly, I know, family changing, couple changing, generation changing, with also upcoming game for children to play in between and also children and parents game. Wow. You're on the mission, you know that.
Yes.
We are. We are.
But I must say, I love the fact how humble you are, honestly, because I think you don't even realize how massive change you're making in the world right now. I think you just simply don't realize. I think you're so much into, okay, how can we make it better, that you completely ignore the fact that you will really transform thousands, if not millions, and I'm sure even billions of people's lives. Because think about it, your game will really educate people on not only how to communicate, but will also teach them how to be more open with their children, just like you said earlier. And already you have great results because your parents are watching you and improving their relationships. How great is that?
Yes. Yes,
That
and that's
is
the thing,
fun.
because if we manage to change at least one couple, that those two people will improve so many around them, because generally they will hear, because if your relationship is fulfilling, you will be less likely to lash out at everyone, be mean, or all of those negative things, but instead you will have so much love towards everyone around you. So it's a must, in a way, that love will actually change people around them. So it is like a ripple effect, that even if we to improve their relationship and make them happier, in their turn they will also make people in their life happier and around them, and people will see. And I think one struggle that I think there is in today's world is that focusing on finding the right partner, and that's it. There are very few couples and long-standing couples that are out there and putting themselves out there to show people that, look, you can have a great relationship that is, long-standing, great and happy over so many years, because we don't really have examples like that. So that's why many people are just stuck in relationships where they are not happy and they don't know there is a making it better. But if we show them more and more examples of positive relationships, they will start believing that, and they will want to mimic that in a certain degree.
That is true.
And we do see very strong focus on the dating industry, right? On the dating aspect, on finding someone, right? And a significant portion of dating is vanity. Like the people with the best picture, the best, either sometimes, the best show off car, or, whatever, you like clothes. And it's like a lot of vanity, and it's just, they focus a lot on selling. Let's say they sell, then they don't follow up. I mean, it's like selling is just, like, think of it this way. Maybe it takes you 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, to find, but then it will take you 5 years to work on that relationship. I mean, your focus is not properly aligned, right? You put so much effort into finding the right partner, and then you do not put the same amount of effort maintaining the relationship and growing it, right? So it's like, okay, well, the focus of an entire industry is wrong. It's like they're focusing on not even half, because you could say they're focusing on, finding the best partner, but no, it's not. It's not half. It's one small part. It's one small chunk. Number one, you should focus on yourself. Becoming the person that you're perfect fall in love with. Number one, you need to be that person. Then number two,
Yeah.
you don't even need to find them. You'll naturally be in places or gravitate towards them, and they will gravitate towards you. Birds flock together. So
Yeah.
if you love tennis and you keep playing tennis, you might find them on the tennis court. Or if you travel somewhere and play tennis there, you might, right? But basically, there are a lot of tools and a lot of ways to meet people now, like Tinder and, social gatherings and hookups and so on and so forth. So it's easy to meet someone. Are you the right person you want to be? And then are you willing to work on your relationship with that one person, for 50, 60, 70 years? If you're not willing, maybe you should stay single for a while longer because you're not ready, for a long-term relationship. And so that's what we believe. The focus is not well right now, not well placed right now. There's like makes 30 billion a year or something like that. Yet there no relationship coach makes even close to that, or a relationship entity, helping relationship. And that's why, there's so many hooks and so many divorces. Everyone focuses on, getting hooked up with someone else, and focuses on, taking the best picture,
Yeah.
And having the perfect date, things and whatever. But then after, they're in a relationship for a few months, after that, it's like, oh, you didn't sleep well last night. Boo-hoo. Well, no. What did you dream about? What's wrong? We're okay. What did I move too much? What's going on? And then keep working on it. It's like you keep needing to be interested and interesting. So it's a lot of things, and I feel there's both to be had in the industry, relationships. And it's like literally half or more of the cake is missing completely. Yeah. It's like not even there. And we want to fill in that gap with, as many as we can, so that people actually, go into the relationship, but then enjoy it. Not for 1 year and then divorce, but maybe for 5 years, meant for each other, literally we're other people because we're not okay, or for 50 years if they really are, meant for each other. And I noticed, I will never forget, I'm going to say, I'll never forget this thing. We were watching a movie. It was myself, I think Diana was there, but my mother and my aunt was there. And they were watching this old movie with this, Italian couple. Both went to, I don't know, like a Berlin or whatever, and they were architects and so on and so forth. And they were in a relationship for like 5, 10 years. They were going to get married, but then they went to her hometown and met her, like the ex-lover of her life, something like that, that was still living there, and then she was like, oh my God, I love this guy, he's still, like, he clicks so much and so on. But then she was like, well, I have my other relationship, back in Berlin, what am I going to do, and so on. And well, needless to say, she ended up, cheating on him and went into a relationship. And then the other guy, went into another relationship. And I was like, well, that was such a sad movie.
Yeah.
But then my that's a great movie. Instead of them two going into a relationship, right, with someone that, doesn't really tick all of the boxes, instead, now they both found, the loves of their lives, because after 5 years, you really know if you've worked on your relationship, right? If you've truly, had the conversations and grew, not like your friend, like that had 8 relationships and didn't learn from any of them, right? If you keep learning and learning and learning relationship, you'll keep choosing better. And it's a matter of time before you literally find the person, that you resonate with on all levels, and then from that angle, you can spend, many decades together. And so I really had a shock. And this was from my mother and my aunt. And they shocked me. And it was like, oh, I didn't think they literally found better people that were more fitting for themselves, and that really changed my view of things. And I do think not everyone is meant for each other, but the only way to know, you can't just, be mean to each other for 5 years and then break up. Who will that help? No one.
No.
It will not help anyone.
Again, I would just like to emphasize something I said, that you can find great people, as Robert mentioned as well. There are so many ways you can actually reach out to find people find you, especially these days. It's so easy to travel everywhere. You're like, basically, it's so easy. What people don't realize, and we want to emphasize a lot more with our game, is a great relationship needs to be built. You don't find a great relationship. You find a great relationship. If you want a great relationship, it is possible, but you need to build it. You need conscious time and a somewhat level of effort as well. Because obviously with this comes a lot of other things like empathy, compromise, respect, a lot of things that go into a relationship. But, if you want a truly great relationship, you need to work for it. Obviously, first step is the person that is willing to put in the effort with you, which is, yes, an important thing. But as I said earlier as well, many people think that, oh, I found this great person, that's it. Now we just sit back, relax, and the relationship happens by itself. It's actually not like, and this is what we want to help people with, because although it's called work and you have to work on your relationship, but people, when they hear this, work, they tend to step. We have hobbies, we have family, we have friends, maybe kids, we have all this, and all of that implies work. We don't want extra work. We want some relaxing time and some fun time. So therefore we came up with the game, and we're like, okay, there is something you can do, have fun and grow your relationship in the meantime, which again will impact you as a couple and you as a person, and also everyone around you in a positive way.
Definitely. I love that. We actually have very interesting comment here from Jeff on Facebook, relatable to what you are saying, guys. It's definitely important to find your soulmate first. That will decrease divorce rate and allow you to live extraordinary life with your life partner, which is crucially important. Yes, not to settle for somebody, just a random guy, just a random girl for the sake of relationships. Because when you do that, unfortunately, you end up being unhappy. A, you don't know yourself. B, you don't know your partner. And as you say, it is about the ongoing process. It's almost like if you want to make a meal and you have all the ingredients, now you have to use the ingredients in the right order. And now you also need to know the recipe to make a meal. It's not enough just to put all ingredients in one pot and just put them on fire, because nothing's going to be made out of that, right? So what you're referring to is actually to having those ingredients. Yes, know yourself, know what you want from your partner, meet together, but then start cooking your relationships. Make sure you cook it well. I love it, guys. Honestly, I fall in love with you, and I love your game. I think your game needs to be seen by literally every couple. And you know what? I think it should be compulsory when you get married to receive these games, honestly, because so many couples, especially brides, they spend their lifetime preparing for the perfect day, but they forget that this is just the beginning. They completely ignore the fact that the wedding day does not mean forever. Wedding day means beginning of that forever. But what they do after the first day, that will determine what relationship will be like. So I think your game needs to be given to every single couple when they get married, saying, there we go, that's it, that's yours, go home, play. But guys, thank you so much for coming today. It was my pleasure to learn not about you and what challenges you had in your relationships, but also to see how tremendous changes your game already created in the world around you, and also nationally and internationally, because it was already sold international. I'm looking forward to receive updates, and I'll keep my fingers crossed to hear as soon as possible when actually it is available online, so more and more people can buy it. And if you update me, I'll make sure I share this video again so people can hear about this. Is it all right? Will you update me? Will you promise me on that?
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much
That's
for having
wonderful.
us.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
my pleasure. And everybody who was having us today here in your living room or maybe your kitchen, wherever you are watching us today, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for staying with us till the very end. And by the way, Robert and Diana, how people can get in touch with you, where they can find you.
Well, they as long as they go to bettertopics.com, they can literally find us. So they just go to Better Topics.
Yeah, so what I will do, oh, there we go. We have them back. Yes, we have you back.
Sorry.
Yes.
We're just saying, I don't know why it fell last minute. So we to Better actually Google Better Topics card game for couples. They'll find us. It's very easy. This is the logo. This is how the text is, right? So they should find quite great.
That is
Okay.
wonderful. Well, thank you so very much once more for being here today. And thank you too for creating a life transformational product for generations and generations to come. I appreciate you. I thank you. And also I thank everybody who was with us all this time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you as
having
well.
us.